Alright guys, welcome. So, we're hitting up Callisto Protocol. And this is a game that came out a little while ago. I saw it, and as I understand, nobody liked it. And when I saw it, I was not really that enamored with it. I was absolutely horrified, disgusted. All the gore in this game, all of the mutilated body parts and whatnot, jeez Louise. It's so disgusting. And quite honestly, it's not really my speed, but I decided, why not do a video on this game? Honestly. So here we are. So what is this? New experience. We're gonna do normal. What is this? Medium security? What does that mean? I guess medium. I already adjusted the brightness, so it should be fine. Performance mode. What does that mean? Do I need it? I don't think I need it. I'm a man, baby. I don't need performance mode. Oh. Jeez. Yeah, that's what happens when you have a conversation with your wife. Isn't this the chick from The Boys? I only saw the first and the second season, and that's it. I don't even really know what I saw of the second season. I know I was disgusted with the chicks not being that attractive and whatnot. Golly, I hate freaking wokeness and everything. We don't put sexy women into everything anymore, and we don't put freaking, oh my, sexy women who are skimpily dressed. Like this chick, she should look like a freaking stripper. What are we doing?
Shocking footage from Europa. A brazen attack by the outer wing.
Wow, that easy. Fake news, biatch. Don't worry though, there's a bunch of libtards. They love their fake news.
Callisto hangar control to UJC Caroline. You have cleared the security perimeter.
Roger, hangar control. Laying in course for Europa Station. You got something to say? You gotta keep flicking that thing all day.
I was watching that.
It's our last run, Max. I'm done talking about it.
Then what do you want me to say?
How about thank you?
Game's way too
'Cause
quiet.
after this job, we're never gonna have to work another day in our lives.
Well, I guess you got it all figured out.
I guess so.
Come on, man, what is this? Huh? Back and forth, Callisto to Europa, all this additional security.
It's a prison moon, Max. They take their security pretty serious.
And what about the attacks? Huh? How do you explain that?
But
Wow, they're really sweating.
they've been hitting targets all over the sector for the past 6 months.
We got a yellow light in the cargo hold.
That's probably nothing.
Well, it's still worth checking out.
You shouldn't worry so much, you know? You live longer.
Port and starboard sensors are both showing errors. Go check them out.
I'm going.
Personal log. We're docked at Callisto hangar. Confined to quarters while they load the cargo. Max has been on my case about these Europa runs. We've done jobs like this before. Don't know why he cares so much now. I mean, it's just a job. Gotta keep your head down and your mouth shut.
Come on, Max. You gotta stack these right. I should check out the rest of the ship. Son of a bitch. I guess I'll check the other side.
I like how there's horror music just playing in the background.
Max, we got
Even though there's nothing actually horror themed or
The outer way?
Yeah, I'm guessing.
scary going on.
Alright, well, you get your ass back up here. And watch your back. You know, they could be anywhere.
Search the hold. It's gotta be here somewhere.
Oh no. So scary.
Dampening field still in effect.
Not for long.
What do they want?
How should I know?
Anything? Nothing yet. Almost out of time.
There he is!
Oh no.
Max!
It's that Asian chick.
Open up! What are you gonna do? Whatever I have to. What are you doing? No! Shit! Just hold on! I'm on my way! Watch out!
Warning. Venting atmosphere.
Jacob, get up here! Hurry!
Warning. Inertial dampeners offline.
Ship's caught in the moon's gravity! We're being pulled in! Transfer flight control to my station! Transfer flight control! This is bad, Jacob! Mayday, mayday, mayday! This is UJC Charon! Returning to Callisto! Requesting emergency clearance!
Negative, UJC Charon. You are not authorized for re-entry.
Sorry, but I got no choice! Coming in hot! Boost the antigraphs! Already at maximum! We're not gonna make it! Yes, we are! Watch out! Hold on! Brace for impact!
Jeez, it's this part that just the gore is
I told you not to worry!
freaky, man.
Max. Max.
Oh jeez, I don't want to see this again. It's so I hate gore so much. Oh gosh, oh gosh, oh jeez.
Oh! Chico? Chico? Oh, I didn't you listen.
Hey, come on. Come on. Oh, God damn it.
The robot designs are good in
One
this
life
game.
sign detected. Continuing search.
Black Iron Security! You the pilot?
Yeah.
And him?
He's gone.
We just need the one. Okay, let's get you out of here. Manifest says you were running cargo out of the hangar. Don't get many of you freelancers out here.
I was just doing my job.
Don't I know it?
Thermal regulators enabled.
It's the first ship I ever lost. We were boarded by
Let go of me!
her. She's the one who... Cool your jets, cargo jockey. You do your job. You let me do mine, all right? Sir. Yes, sir? Whatever you say. Grab him, too. Hey! What are you doing? Hey! I didn't do anything!
What the fuck are you looking at?
Why?
Way too late for this shit. Okay,
Inmates. Do not speak unless they are spoken to.
there's been a mistake. My name is Jacob Lee. I'm not an inmate.
You were inmate.
532-521. You address me as Captain Ferris.
What? No. I'm just a cargo pilot. I was attacked by the Outer Way. By her. She crashed my ship and she killed my first
I
officer.
don't care. Warden Zors. Oh, speak of the devil.
Choice. Every choice in your life has led you here. To this moment. To this place. The only place where you truly belong. To find the one thing that has always been missing. A purpose for your meaningless life. This is Warden Cole, and together we will find that purpose. Welcome to Black Iron Prison.
I just love that last part. Gives me chills every time. End of the line. Get up. Inmates. I gave you a direct order.
This is not right. I don't belong here.
Listen. You know they call Callisto the dead moon. Dead. Just like you would have been if I hadn't fished you out of that wreck. I mean, shit. As far as anyone else is concerned, you are dead. It's time you moved on. Because you're crossing.
What's going on with the lip syncing?
My kingdom. So whatever it is.
Seems a
you're
little bit
holding on to
off.
Right there, that's your old life. You gotta let that go. Because your new life is entirely in my hands.
Surprise, dead man.
What is that about?
Okay.
What's in his gauntlet?
Let's go.
I don't get it. I'm so confused.
You are now entering Black Iron Prison, a division of UJC Corrections. Proceed immediately to new inmate processing.
Hey!
What style is this based on? Is this cyberpunk or something?
Wait! No, you got it!
Inmate 532-.
Oh look, a female doctor. Wow.
Caitlin Murder, and as per Article 412 of the UJC Penal Code, you will now be.
Don't you love it? We got a female antagonist, we got female doctor, we've got a black president.
No! You don't got
Love
that,
it.
Doctor!
Yes, my intend to faithfully execute my responsibilities. Try not to move, it'll only make things worse.
Oh, fuck you! Ah!
Doctor, he's flatlining.
Injector.
Jeez.
All security personnel, report to the main cell block. This is not a drill. Please, remain calm. There is nothing to fear.
What the hell? Something's not right.
I really don't know what I have to think or say about this.
Oh my God.
Well, see ya.
Anomaly detected.
So we just got here, and immediately the whole place is coming down.
Anomaly detected.
Hey man, over here! Hey man! What the fuck is going on?
I don't know what the hell's going on. My ship crashed, I got thrown in here, and then I woke up to this.
Well, look. You're that pilot they just brought in, yeah? Yeah, well, look, I've been in here half my life. I know this place. I've got a plan to get out. If you help me out of this cell, I'll help you, yeah? Look, you can use this to get inside the control room across that bridge. You can open my cell from there. My name's Elias, by the way.
Jacob.
Don't lose it, Jacob. Might just save your life. Don't leave me hanging.
Oh my gosh. Why was he squeezing through there like it was difficult? There's a lot of room. He could have just shimmied through pretty easily. You gotta love these nihilistic games and nihilistic stories. Oh, there's so many of them. I love how nihilistic so many games are today. I mean, it's horror, so... Ow. Ow. That's no fun. That's not good. Oh my gosh. I'm so good at this game. Get wrecked. Get wrecked. Oh. Oh. Oh.
Stop! Wait!
Oh my gosh. So there's a way to cheat the dodging mechanic in this game. I think it's literally if you just spam both directions, you can't die. As I remember. Oh my gosh.
What the fuck was that? That should do it.
Run, Elias! Run! It all happened inside your head. What the? It all happened inside your head. It's just footage. It already happened. You weren't actually here. Okay. I really do not like the horror genre at all.
Jacob, over here! Look, this gate's no good. Console's not responding.
Back there, I just saw something. It attacked me and it didn't seem human.
What are you on about?
I know what I saw.
Look, this place can mess with your head, but this is
I saw it.
Whatever
It
was
looks
you saw,
just
all
like
the
your
more reason to get
girlfriend.
out of it. You see that watchtower?
Yeah.
That's our first stop. Meet me there.
It reminded me of her in her party
Take it up to the
years.
next level. I'll be in touch.
Got it.
It was horrible. There's a bunch of dudes and she was all over them. It was horrible. I heard that she was a whore, but she's a savage. In truth. Oh, what's up? Oh my, what the? Don't do that. Don't do that, bro. It's not okay. Ah.
All response teams mobilize immediately. Warning.
Wow. 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 That's great.
Jacob, can you hear me?
Yeah. How?
Enable two-way comms with your core. You know, you pick up a few tricks when you've been here as long as I have. Right. I see you made it to the lift. Just take it down and find the elevator on that level.
Indeed.
responded to a crash outside the gatehouse. Site secured as per Warden's orders. Access restricted to Mahler's team only. Never thought I'd miss the old Warden. At least she was by the book.
What? Bro, I dodged it too. Wow. What's up? I hate games like these. Frick.
Alert. Security systems offline. Remain in your cell. Warning. 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 All response teams mobilize immediately.
Elias, something's wrong with the elevator. I'm heading down, not up.
Damn! That means you're headed to solitary. You can still reach the watchtower. Just have to go the long way. Just be careful. They keep the real crazies down there.
Flashing lights. Ugh. It's annoying. Annoying to watch. Oh my gosh. What's your deal, bro? See ya.
I've known him forever. It was this thing. He attacked me.
You hurt?
No, but I had to kill him. Kill it. What the fuck is going on?
Well, that's nice. it is following me.
Elias, found the elevator, heading up now.
Good. Now this detour might actually work for us. Look, there's a weapons lockup just past the infirmary.
Good place to gear up.
You'll need to watch out though. Security units are back online.
Lethal force has been authorized. Area secured. Moving to medical sector.
Prison systems are breaking down like that elevator back there. Just stay out of their line of sight and you should be able to sneak by.
Threat condition elevated. Scanning for active core signatures.
How do I change my... oh. Please don't kill me. I'm just sitting here. I'm not interested. Oh, frick. Oh dear. Oh my. What the?
Remain where you are.
What the? Dear God!
Pacification complete.
Jeez. Okay. Thanks. Wow. You've got the wrong guy.
Elias, they can't track us.
Prison systems are breaking down like that elevator back there. Just stay out of their line of sight and you should be able to sneak by.
I can't let them see me.
Threat condition elevated.
Hello. I'm not here. See ya.
Scanning for active core signatures. No activity detected.
So much gore. What the heck? This is unlocked. Let me through?
All systems nominal.
What do I do? Oh dear God. Don't look over here. Where? That's a lot of noise. Does he not hear anything?
Black Iron security unit active.
You don't see me. You don't see me. You never saw me.
Weapon systems online.
So it's kind of on rails. It's interesting. Oh my gosh, this is horrific. Oh my goodness. Oh.
Looks like I'm in the clear.
Oh Lord. Frick.
This might be useful.
What? What? I was attacking him. I had the upper hand. And he got me. Okay. The lights, man, holy crap. What the F?
For it is only through change that we grow. That we become the best.
The lights. It's annoying.
But it is necessary.
Frick.
Jacob, it's getting worse out here. Where are you?
Made it through the infirmary. Still looking for that weapons lockup.
Okay, you're getting close. Just keep moving.
Nice. Shit, man, what's up? What's up, son? What's up? We having a white boy summer. Don't you run from me. Oh, okay. See ya. Punk.
Yeah, that might be something.
Jacob, you find anything?
The lockup had already been raided. All that's left is this baton.
Oh my gosh.
Stun baton, yeah.
That's horrible.
Those things do pack a punch, though. and we are gonna need it. Listen, you're almost to the watchtower. I had to sneak through, but it's empty now, so you should be good. I'll meet you on the other side.
Yeah, see you there.
Is it really that sharp? No, that's not very sharp. No, that's not sharp. How is he stuck on that? Oh my gosh. I am not a fan of this genre. I can tell you that.
Almost there.
Lord have mercy. Really? Wait, so I'm back here now. So what about that? Do I go up here?
Tactical units, you are weapons free. Repeat, you are weapons free. Yes, sir.
You.
What the?
You get in here.
You think I got time for this shit? Okay. Let me see if I got this straight. You crash here, and then this whole place goes to shit. Oh, 5, 2, 1. Look at me when I'm talking to you. What'd you do? Huh? You can tell me. Are you different? Are you special? Why'd the warden? Why'd you lie? I told you. This is my kingdom. It's all yours.
What the? Really? So how does he have that kind of power and control over their bodies? That it makes no sense. So like, what's in the air that allows him to do that?
those things killed him.
You're harder than I thought. Just keep going now. I found a safe room up ahead.
Yeah, this game is so... I don't know if I can say that this game's good or bad. It's like there's element, I mean, obviously they worked hard on it, right? But oh my gosh, the flashing everywhere, man. It's just annoying to look at. I don't know, man.
Necessity. To do what is required. To make the hard choices.
What the heck?
As your new warden, I will do what is necessary.
Prisoner. Apply.
Oof. This game is horrific, man. My gosh. What the? Yeah, I can't say that I enjoy this game that much, but there's something about this game that clearly there's a lot of work that came into it. I can't really say I like it though. Ay, the freaking lights. Oh dear God.
Think that'll hold him?
Fucking hope so.
The hell are those things?
Doesn't matter. Look, you just gotta get out of here.
You said something about a plan.
Yeah. This way. Come on.
All right.
This'll come in handy though.
Jeez, dude, that is
Take that over to the reforge.
horrific.
You can use it to print a new weapon. Give me a minute to tap into the system.
That guy's his arm. Like, what the heck? Dude got freaking destroyed.
Please make a selection. Stand by.
That's cool.
Okay, got it. If we're gonna get out of here, we need a ship, one that you can fly. Now, I found an inmate with the skills to hack the network and call one down from orbit. Bad news is they're in the shoe. Maximum security. It'll be fucking tough getting in there. Caught bothering you?
Yeah, ever since I got it.
Yeah, they can scramble your brains a little bit. Don't worry, you get used to it.
Yeah, you sure know a lot about this place.
Yeah, I've had nothing but time.
Okay, so what's next? The shoe? Can we just waltz our way in there?
No, I wish we could. It's not gonna be that easy, bruv. Look, I've been here a long time. I've got privileges that you don't. So I'm gonna have to take you a different way. But I'll be your eyes and ears and I'll guide you along.
Don't you leave me hanging.
I got you. Unless you know I'm part of that.
No, I'm afraid not.
I'll get that door for you.
Oh no. Oh, that's so terrible. Wow. That is sexual malpractice right there. Oh no.
Take that elevator down to the next level, then follow the signs to reach medical. I'll be in touch.
I can see how people said that this is a lot like Dead Space. The same guys who worked on Dead Space, right? They're the ones that also worked on this? The original Dead Space? Oh, sheesh, son, what's up? Listen, brother. I'm gonna go this way, okay? Alright, man. See you, man. See you later. I hate the flashing lights. It's just annoying to look at, you know? Oh, jeez. Oh. How do you dodge? How do you dodge? Am I running low? I believe so. What about this way? What's over here? Can those security bots be overwhelmed?
Not connect to Black Iron security net.
Bro, that guy has so much armor. How is he damaged? That doesn't make any sense. Yeah, what's up? What's up, biatch? What's up? What's up? What was that about? What was that? I don't... Oh, I get it. Interesting. Okay. I get it now. It's a weird way to pair together melee and ranged.
Can't open it. You'll need to find security credentials. Look around for any dead guards nearby.
Prisoner. Why?
Use your shift to dig out their implant.
Wait, what?
You don't have a choice. It's the only way through that door.
What a mess.
You do what you gotta do in here.
Oh my gosh.
This place has a way of changing you.
Frick. Frick, man.
I didn't have a choice. Inmates were tearing through the block. I had to seal the door. Does anyone copy?
Yes, Officer Jane.
Warden Cole? Where are you?
In my tower. Watching.
What? Why? What's happening?
My pants are off. My hand is upon me right now. As I watch through the security cameras, this is absolutely glorious. Tell me, Sergeant James, have you ever seen a grown man naked? What's up? What's up? Wow! Chill, dog. Easy on the merchandise. Yo, man, that's some good heroin. Jeez. I need more of that stuff. Please? What's in here? That's it, huh? Oh my gosh! Man, that guy was just chilling in there.
What are those?
Captured my entire squad. You have to send someone. I don't know how long that door will hold. Get him! Oh God! No!
Oh no! Oh, that's so terrible. What is this? I'm full. Oh no. What do I do? Okay, so that's a health injector, and that is hand cannon ammo. Well, let's go. Let's go fight the biatch. Where's the biatch? Okay. I have no idea where to go. Why am I here? Whoa! He can do that. He's just like a Magna Guard. Oh dear.
I'm in medical.
Keep going to the back exit. I'll contact you there.
There's no more room. Patients stacked in the hall. The first case came in an hour ago, and they just keep coming.
Oh wow.
We're losing control.
Another black scientist.
Who the hell is she?
Gee. It's interesting that so many of the prisoners, right? They're all white dudes. And then of course they have to make the president a black guy, and they have to make a doctor a female or a black dude. Gee, that's really interesting. That is very strange. I wonder if there's any reason behind that. I bet there's no reason at all. How's it going? Yeah, I can freak you out too, bro. I can freak you out too. Don't mess with me. Don't mess with me. You don't want to mess with me? I'm fidgety, man. See, man. Oh my. Oh dear God.
Found one of those gloves that Captain Ferris had.
That's a grip.
All this gore, bro. It just makes me so unnerved.
It works on all sorts of things too. Go on, give it a go.
Will do.
Oh, it's just like Dead Space, right? Don't you have that telekinesis? Oh my gosh, right? This is Dead Space. That's hilarious. It's so funny because I guess what happens is that guys like these, they end up in some way, shape, or form getting off the team that originally makes a game that they really loved making, and they're really hung up about it. So then they just make another game that's exactly like the game they worked on, right? I mean, that's kind of like what Titanfall was. Not exactly. Obviously, that was pretty much an upgrade on Call of Duty. But still, a lot of these previous developers, they go on to make a lot of stuff. There were previous developers for like Final Fantasy 15 and whatnot, and they just went ahead and basically made a game that's almost like one for one with a lot of elements to that game. It's really interesting when you notice that with a lot of developers. It's so strange because I've heard people float this idea, and I just think it's dumb. I'm sure it's true in some cases, but right, like some people say that, oh, you burn out under doing certain things. And it's like, no, you don't. It's very clear that you don't. Clearly, there's a lot of people, they work on something and they would love to continue working on that thing for a very long time. So it really just comes down to types of people, right? And there's certain types of people, they get burnt out on a lot of stuff sooner than other people, for whatever reason. But you know, you see it so often with developers. They definitely have hang-ups on a lot of the things that they've worked on, and they want to continue working on those things, and I guess one way or another they end up no longer working on it, so for whatever purpose. But there's a I'm running out of freaking juice. Shit, man. That's messed up. Nah. You can't tell me to stop using my telekinesis.
Brian! What's going on? We don't know. Just hold him. I'll get another sedative. Hurry.
Oh my. Bro, attack him back. What are you doing? Oh my gosh, guys. Get it together. Weak. They were born weak. They were born in the weak. I do apologize. I'm trying to loot here. I don't mean to be rude. Yeah, don't mind me. I'm just making noise. There's no loot anywhere, man. Like, what is the point? Oh, what's up, dude? Yo. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, what are you? Come on, bro. What? What? They still get cheap shots in. Come on. Oh my gosh. It's so silly. It's so silly, bro. The dodging mechanic in this game. I had my heroin. It's good stuff, man. Freaking good stuff. A battery pack? Beautiful. Oh, thank you, bright lights. Bright lights everywhere. Annoying the living daylights out of me. Just keep going, keep going. See what happens, bright light. Oh my gosh. Jeez. What the frick? Oh my gosh.
Jacob! You made it! I'm gonna open up the maintenance elevator. That'll get you up here, yeah?
So why specifically these guys? I don't get it. Yeah, give me that juice.
Looks like it's busted.
Get inside. I can drive it from here.
You sure about that?
Gonna lower you down nice and easy.
Brakes don't look too good. Elias!
I'm trying. One of the motors shorted out when I transferred power.
Stop the cab! Stop it! Elias!
The system's not responding. You've got to do it manually.
Wait, what? How?
Just jam something into the brake. Hurry!
Come on, you son of a bitch!
Jeez Louise, man, the freaking flashing of the screen.
Still with me?
They love that stuff. They love it when lights go out, I swear.
System's acting up.
The developers, they have a
Power down
fetish for
there. Get to
lights
the
going
elevator.
out.
You're nearly here.
Another elevator. Can't wait.
They're so into it. What the?
What the hell?
They love the vents. They were born in the vents, made by it, molded in it. Jeez, man, I got wrecked. I'm sorry? That is really cute. Thanks for trying. I'm a funny guy. What the? Chill. Yo, mute. Oh my gosh. What the freak? Of course it has to be a female as a prison guard. Of course it is. It always is. Well, that didn't do it. How do you avoid that? Oh, nothing? Oh, that sucks. I thought there was something here. Well, that teaches you right there. There's nothing being hidden around the corner. Well, there's a lot of dudes here. What? Oh, I can't do anything with that? Oh. Oh dear. What? Oh, come on. Stop that. Whoa. Running low. I've got no mother effing health. Whoa. What's at the bottom?
I see the shoe.
The environments are pretty impressive in this game.
Elias, can you hear me?
Sorry for not responding. This thing's found a way inside here. Really tearing up the place.
Can we still get to the shoe?
Yeah, but it's on emergency power, so I'll need to stay here and run a manual override. Don't worry. I can get you over there. I'm activating the gondola right now. It'll carry you across.
Can I upgrade my crap or what? Where's an upgrade station?
No time to waste, Jacob. The gondola, Jacob. Get on it.
Executing.
Does it actually change its look?
Have a united day.
I don't think it did. I don't believe.
No time to waste, Jacob.
Yo, that's expensive. Wow.
UJC printed, the highest quality. Print finished.
That's so good. It looks just like where I left it. Dang. Impressive.
The gondola, Jacob. Get on it.
Excellent choice.
I don't really have a lot of choices. That's why I chose this one.
No time to waste, Jacob.
How do you block? Oh dear. How do you... Oh. Wow.
Right.
Dang.
You need to find a way to turn the power back on in there.
Yeah, I'm looking.
That is hilarious. That was really effective there. What am I doing?
finishes cycling up, get ready for a fight.
Ow. Yeah, what you gonna do? Yeah, biatch. Oh, shoot.
To reach the cell.
Okay. There's another
Please
one of
make a
these.
selection.
I can't afford anything.
Unit online.
Okay, I did it. Now get to the control panel so you can open that cell.
On my way.
You know, it's like every single horror game is all about get randomly stuck into chaotic environment, some kind of horrific scenario, and then you're always scrambling across a level trying to get out of that environment, which, you know, I get it that that's the kind of blueprint that a lot of horror films and the entire genre follows, but there kind of comes a point where it's like it's really on rails every single time. Like, seriously, it's always that way. I honestly wondered to myself, like, couldn't you just do like a horror game or a horror story of some kind that's like a developmental narrative, right? Like, imagine a narrative, maybe it's kind of an RPG, kind of not, but like imagine a game that like you're stuck in a swamp and there's a witch and you're developing the narrative around the witch. And let's say that she's eating people or she's malforming people into these freak abomination swamp monsters or something like that, right? But it's like, it's a really dark narrative, and let's say that you're maybe you're stuck working for her or something. Like, I'm just, you know, aren't there other ideas that you can go for than this? Isn't there other ways to deliver horror than this? And I get the whole idea of a horror scenario is that you can't get out of it. But isn't there another way to just make a horror themed kind of story? Again, like a developmental narrative where you could technically leave the scenario. And honestly, that would be way more interesting, is having a story where technically you could leave. And it doesn't have to strictly be that. I mean, in some way, right now, I'm thinking of Dracula. A story like that, but it could be a whole bunch of other types of stories, but it's like, you don't always have to be trapped. There's a bunch of ways that you could do a horror narrative, a horror story, a horror game. Yeah, you could do something. And so far with this game, I'm kind of finding that we're not really, or well, a lot of games like this, a lot of the horror genre is all the same thing. You get trapped somewhere, you got to get out of that place. And you go through the freak abomination that is being in that place. But there really is no story. It's always the same thing. You meet somebody random, you're trying to escape through the vessel of like a socialized vessel, right? We are socializing the disaster by adding other characters, and typically these stories always add other characters so that you don't feel too, I guess, nihilistic or too oppressed by the narrative. Or it's not really the narrative, but right, like the gameplay narrative that tells you you're being hunted down or you're trying to escape somewhere, that every turn you take something somewhere is trying to kill you. But it's like, why can't we have a narrative where it doesn't always have to be on rails like this? There's not always that random person that's stuck with you or whatever. It's always the same blueprint. There's so many other ways to do horror than this. And you know, some games have always kind of done maybe a little bit of a different idea. Kind of, not really, but I mean, some try to go with the eerie, unnerving, kind of like village trope, right? You're somewhere that seems normal, and then slowly it seems less and less normal. But I'm going to be honest, I don't think we have a lot of intelligence anymore behind a lot of storytellers. And I think too many people, they base their ideas off of other people and their ideas. No one's trying to fight to make the most creative idea anymore. So we just keep on getting the same narrative where you're in this freak disaster scenario. You're trying to get out of it. I mean, Still Wakes the Deep, it's just like this. You're stuck on a boat, an oil rig, and you're trying to get out of there while everybody else is dying, and it's a socialized disaster. So there's other characters that you're a part of this whole freak show with. But again, like, it'd be interesting if we had a horror story, horror narrative that I guess, like, maybe more of like a psychological thriller, but like a really well made one that's really unnerving, but you're not stuck in this kind of scenario, this kind of blueprint that we see so many games. You get stuck within these kinds of scenarios time after time after time again. It's always the same thing. I mean, seriously, it's always running between locations, fighting or avoiding crazy monster or monsters. And then you're always activating a panel, and then something that you can't really interact with, but it's far away from the screen, right? You're finally interacting with a level in such a way that allows you to get to the next area, and that next area is going to get you closer to your supposed sanctuary, right? Either it's a checkpoint, sanctuary, or it's the end of the game, sanctuary, whatever it is. It's always the same thing. It's never a story where there's these deep psychological aspects and narrative concepts, right? It's like, let's say that you're fighting off becoming a werewolf throughout the story, and there's these horrific things that happen or whatever, or someone that you're around is turning into a werewolf. Like, there's these ideas that you could go with it for a story that's a slow burn, developmental. Slowly you see someone that you know is becoming deranged, and let's say like you're a hunter. You're in the woods. Another fellow hunter that you're working with, he gets infected, and you see that he's slowly changing. You see that he's slowly, let's say, devouring people, or let's say not devouring people, but you can see that he's starting to, what is it called again? It's, is it lycanopathy? Is that what's, no. Anyways, he's turning into a lichen, all right? I don't know if I could just say lichenize or whatever. I guess I could. But, anyway, he's slowly turning into a lichen, right? And that could be an interesting story where, and again, this is like a medieval story. Again, you're following the narrative, but like slowly these horrific things are going on across the story. You know, you're doing business dealings with a kingdom, right? And the king of that kingdom, let's say there's a romance developing between your partner, who the hunter partner, and he has a romance with the king's daughter. And he has this relationship where eventually he just brutalizes her, right? When, let's say they're in bed and they're having sex, and then he brutalizes her, right? That kind of narrative, that he's slowly transforming. And that's a developmental part of the narrative. But there's other elements that you can do where you're building up dread, you're building up tension outside of just that. But it's like, let's just say that he's transforming in certain ways. You're part of this normal kind of world. You're going on this normal fantasy storyline, and you're seeing these horror aspects. They're coming to life as the narrative goes. And that's what I'm talking about. It's like, it's a world to which you're free to run away, right? I mean, you could technically just leave the town. You could technically do whatever you want, but you're there. You care about this person, you care about the people or whatever, or something of the sort. But it's like, why is it always this kind of like dystopian environment? That's what I don't get. Why can't we have different types of horror stories, horror narratives? And there's a way to pace it, and there's a way to make it work. We don't do that. And that, yeah, we don't do that. Yeah, no, and yeah, that would work. That would actually work. It could be an open world game. Now, yeah, and that could work. You would have to pace it differently because it's open world, but you could still make it work. Or you can make it a linear game. Maybe, what's a good example? When I say linear game, though, maybe linear open world would actually not be too bad. So, anyway, there's just ways that you could make a horror story, a horror narrative that isn't what we're seeing now. It's always these confined locations, you're trapped, horrific things are happening to you and the people around you. And I get it. I understand psychologically what these games are and stories, what they're operating off of. And a lot of these stories, they operate like this. But I think to myself, there's other ways to do this. And there's other types of stories that you can create and follow that is horrific and it's insane what's happening, and you're kind of a part of the world, and there's certain elements, let's say, that are we can figure out how to make games like Slender Man, for instance, how to make a game like that scary, right? I mean, technically you could just keep on running and escape the game, air quotes on that. I mean, yeah, you can't, but still. The point is like, there's a way to deal with locale and space and still make it unnerving and make it unsettling in the kind of the typical horror sense. There's a way to do this, and right now what I see is you have a lot of these storylines and they're doing the same thing effectively. It's always the same blueprint, it's always the same type of characters. If we're being honest, there's not a lot that is being experimented to, and yeah, even in some case, I don't like investigative horror stories either. And in some sense, that's kind of like what Dracula is. It's a mixture of I haven't finished the book yet, by the way, but at the beginning of the book, it's a mixture of investigative, and then that quickly turns into you're trapped and confined. Okay. There's far different ways that we can be delivering this, however. And it's so noticeable that there's always this reliance on the same tropes, on the same kind of blueprint. I mean, I would be interested in a more like Sherlock Holmes kind of horror story. That would be interesting. Where you're seeking out whatever the horror element is. That could be interesting. Like maybe you're hunting it down or whatever. And not that you become the hunted, but you're hunting the thing that is horrific. That could be cool. And there's ways to execute these things where it delivers everything that you're looking for that kind of narrative to deliver. The issue is, however, I'm going to bring down the volume of the game. It's a little bit loud. But The issue here is just the simple fact that you don't see a lot of, I'm gonna say, creativity. You don't see a lot of experimentation. You always see a reliance on a lot of the same kind of general beats, the same stimuli, the same tropes. There's not enough experimentation within this genre. That's my only thing. I get how these are designed and how it's kind of difficult to move apart from this design process. But there just becomes a point where they redo and they rehash the horror formula so many times, you really begin to ask yourself, these are literally the same products. You just rewash who the people are. Yeah, honestly, and like, is this game specifically, is this really that scary? And the answer is no, it's really not. So it's like, again, like, you're telling me with all the ideas I just shared, like the witch in a swamp, the fellow huntsman that you work with, and him slowly turning into a lichen or something like that. You can't make a scary narrative around that. You can't make a scary narrative around like vampires, right? Down to earth. None of this like over fantastical nonsense. No. Like psychological horror kind of stuff. A vampire narrative where you've got this vampire that's like, maybe he's like stalking on the main character, and right? Oh my gosh, it could even be an open world game, and they could do so many things to weave an interesting game, interesting gameplay, but still you have this horror narrative, horror aspect or element following the main character that's actually unnerving for the player. Where it's like, you know, it's like you're playing an open world game, right? Let's just say like The Witcher 3, something like that. But it's like, you feel that unnerving sense, right? That there's something in the level that's watching you, that kind of thing. And it's this vampire character. And there's so many things that you can do to make different ideas, to make them interesting, to make them compelling, to have the same impact as a game such as this has. And like, the idea behind a game like this is that you always go to these sanctuary points, right here, where we're sitting at a sanctuary point, and then there's chaos in between each and every single sanctuary moment in the game. Sorry, sanctuary checkpoint, okay? It's so clear how the pacing is made. And it's supposed to be that once you're outside of the sanctuary, everything's supposed to get brutal. Everything's supposed to get high intensity, high impact scenarios and situations. But the problem is that we're following these situations. It's on rails. We've done this many times over and over before. Here, it's not even working. I mean, some of it was a little bit freaky, but it's not working really that well. So it's like, you're telling me you can't do one of my ideas and make that a story? Make it a developmental narrative. But again, like, we would need actually intelligent writers. That's the simple truth. Writers who are thinking out their story. They're not just following the rhythm that someone else has already made for them, right? Because a lot of these people, they're basically just copying off of a lot of predecessors. That's what they're doing, right? It's like, oh, you know, have you played Amnesia before? Have you played Dead Space before? Yeah, we're basically following beat for beat what that is. We've seen this before. We've done this before. We've seen these things in these people before, and they just look different, or it just sounds a little bit different. That's it. That's all it is. I respect the work that it took to make this game, because this game wasn't super easy to make, right? And some of it is just a lot of good work was put into it as well. You know, the graphics are good, the levels look good. I mean, just look at it. I don't know what this style is. This is like a weird futuristic kind of. Is it cyberpunk? I can't tell. Or is it? No, I don't. Man, I forget what it's called, but man, it would be so cool to have like a steampunk kind of story, you know? My idea of a steampunk story. By the way, I do have a steampunk story that I am, I've written some of it, some of the story, but mostly I've only written really the outline. But I have this steampunk story that I've been working on in the past. I have a bunch of other things I'm working on, but the idea is really fascinating to me, and man, if you turn that into a game or a movie, it would be a really good narrative. I haven't finished it, but it's, you know, there's a point behind it in the end, but I just think about certain things, like you could have a dark side user story, right? You could have a Sith storyline that could have horror elements, or maybe not. It could just be dark psychology kind of story or whatever. Something of the like, I don't know. I know what I would do with it, but whatever. Like, there's so many things that we don't do a good job with. There's so many types of stories that we don't deliver a really compelling or satisfactory narrative around. And there's so many things that are just rehashed and rewashed, and it really does feel like we're doing the same thing over and over. There's so much creativity that could be out there and could be explored, and instead we're doing this, right? And like halfway through playing this game, I was just thinking to myself, it's like, you know, and I mean this in a rhetorical sense, it's kind of depressing to just play a game and you know that this really is just another one of those games, and you know that it's like, this really doesn't matter what we're playing through right now. This really isn't that meaningful, because again, like, the idea isn't there. When you pick up a story, when I picked up Dracula, there was something to it. I could feel it when I was just listening to the story, and I was like, there's an idea here. And this is actually a compelling narrative. And, you know, you have people out there, they say all kinds of things. One of the things that they say, one second. Oh my gosh, I needed water. What the frick? Okay. You have this thing where people sit there and they say that a story needs to start off with a lot of action and needs to start off, you know, high intensity and all this crap, right? You got to grab someone's attention right away with immediate action. No, you don't. Some stories you do, but the story must inform its own pacing. If a story does not necessitate high action from the very start, why are you cheapening your story like fast food? You're just doing something because you think that you need a cheap kick in the dopamine response of your audience to get them invested. No, there's so many great stories that start off slow. And then when I say slow, they start off very slow. Witcher 3, that starts off relatively slow. Overall, it's pretty slow. It's a mixture. I mean, the opening cinematic is kind of slow, but then it goes into Yennefer running around and being like, oh my gosh, and then Battlefield, and then that whole cutscene that was a trailer, right? Remember that? Eventually, you as Geralt, you fight the Griffin, I believe is what it was, or I forget what it. But there's slow moments, and then what is it? It flows in and out of slow moments into action moments, but you can tell that they're not trying to throw the action in there because it's like, we have to get your dopamine response. We have to get your attention. No, they're showing you something that's a part of the narrative, and they go as slow as the narrative needs to go, and then they go as action as the narrative needs to go. And that's for a long time how a lot of things happened. I mean, I would argue that something like Lord of the Rings, there's not enough action, but I mean, geez, Lord of the Rings, talk about starting slow. Love of God. The Witcher book, the first book, that starts off slow. It's just people talking about politics and racial matters and relations and all that. There's another book I'm thinking of, Thrawn, the Thrawn trilogy. I'm not saying it's good. That one did start off with action though. That did, as I remember. It starts with Thrawn. It starts with the rebel convoy, right? And everything having to do with the TIE fighter formation, him talking about that. But that's a mixture of slow, right? Thrawn's explaining something as action is happening in the narrative, in the story at that moment, at the same time, right? So he's giving off orders and commands, and he's explaining to Pelion the, I think it's called the Sarg Mabal or whatever, formation. Anyway, but like there's a mixture of slow and fast right there. It's all about the substance. It's all about substance when it comes down to storytelling. You can go as fast, as explosive as you want, but there has to be substance. You can also go as slow and effectively boring as you want, as long as there's substance. And the issue is that there's so many people, they try to act like you can just, there's so many people, they sit there and they say, you have to do this, you have to do that. That's the blueprint. This is the schematic. That's what you have to, schema this, schema that. You have to follow all these things. And you can't go outside of the blueprint. Well, for one, screw you. Screw you because you can. What you need is substance. And let's just face it. Today, nowadays, there's not enough people, almost anybody anymore, that has enough substance to go slow in a story. Nobody has the substance any longer to go slow in storytelling, so everyone goes cheap. So they go for the dopamine response, which is explosive, fast, high action, high octane, high intensity. Well, okay, cool, you're doing that, but now there's nothing behind your story. There's a bunch of narratives that start off slow, and typically it's the ones that start off the most action-oriented, and they start off the most explosive. Those are the stories. They never really go anywhere. Typically, if I'm being honest, sometimes they have a glimmer of hope, but okay, let's act like they do go somewhere, okay? Nobody remembers these stories. Nobody thinks about it. No one's like, oh, remember that part of the story. Remember this part of the story. No one remembers any of that. When we look at a lot of the greatest stories, they understand substance, for one, but then for two, they understand how to captivate your interest when going slow. In fact, it's better that you rely upon going slow so that then when you go fast and you go high octane, it hits the hardest. It means the most. As I remember, I read a little bit. I never truly read the book, by the way, but the first book for Game of Thrones, as I remember, that also starts off slow. I think it starts off talking about the politics of the world of, I forget what it's called for Game of Thrones, but it's talking about the politics, and then I think you meet the dude in the snowy region, the dude that's like destined for everything, right? The freaking dude, yeah. So that guy. It starts off though with you meeting him, and then there's this long laundry list going through his ancestry and his. Specifically who his brothers and sisters are, right? And their names and like why they're named, what they're named. Isn't his name Ted Stark or whatever? I forget. Anyway, however it starts, okay? But as I remember when I was reading it, it starts off slow. It doesn't start off with action. This is my issue. You have so many people out there, they want to act like they know what they're talking about. And then you end up with stuff like this, okay? you end up with stuff like this where it's like, okay, people are putting a lot of work into it, but the ideas are not there. And there are better ideas. And you know, you could have ideas that are not as octane. You can have these ideas that are not as, let's say, fantastic. No, not fantastical, but grandiose. They're not as grandiose. And there's all this kind of, wow, right? For instance, look at this, right? We're in this large, don't know what we're in, but, right, you're a part of these larger than life locations, and all these crazy things are happening in this larger than life location. You can just bring it down to a witch in a swamp, and that can be a horror story that is compelling and that can really wrap you into its narrative, that can capture your interest no matter where you're going, how fast you're going, or how slow you're going. Again, we don't know what our ideas mean anymore. And we always think that we have to go big with our ideas, but in reality, we don't need to go big with our ideas. We can go small. I don't know what it is. Like, I think in some part what it is that you have these people, they want to have a cool idea, and they want to have like this big, expansive vision for their narrative, or whatever their story or worlds that they're lost into, or getting you lost into, whatever it is, right? Like, they want to have these big environments that we're in right now, that we started this story in, right? They want to have these enormous worlds, large environments. And they end up sacrificing, I think, a lot of the value behind a very small locale. And again, I'm not saying things need to be small, but let's just face it, nothing's small anymore. There's none of this, you know, you're a huntsman for a kingdom, right? And your fellow huntsman, he gets infected and he's slowly turning into a lichen. And it's that localized kind of narrative and story within just a kingdom, which, you know, it sounds big, but you as the character, as a player, you're existing within towns, you're existing within these locations. And when I'm thinking of this story, in fact, I'm thinking of like a Red Dead Redemption 2 kind of world. Not exactly like it, but it's like that kind of speed of moving through the world. It doesn't feel slow, but it doesn't feel fast, right? You're limited by having to ride around on a horse and stuff like that, and you can't really fast travel that much. Make it this tight, localized environment. You can't just go anywhere you want, as immediate as you want. There's this kind of realism to the environment that you're in, and that's how you can make a open world horror story more immersive and that much more impactful on you, is that things are slower. When you're moving through the world, again, it's not that the character's slow, but it's like when you're going through a marsh, right? The marshlands, and you're going through mud, your character's going to naturally move slower. There's going to be certain dangers in the environment that impede you going from point A to point B, right? There's all these things you can do. You can make a swamp feel alive. There's all these monsters and beasts and alligators, and there's all these things going on, and there's things hiding in the trees, hiding in the shadows. You can do all these things to where you could have this really small, realistically small swamp, but it feels, because it's so dense and it's so compact with all these threats and all this kind of terror in the environment. And let's say there's certain other terrors based on the narrative as well. It makes that environment feel that much larger, right? You can have that in a story. You can have that in a game. And that's not what we're doing with a lot of these games anymore today. We always have to make everything large. We have to make everything larger than it's good for, to the point that we sacrifice identity. And that's really what we're doing. Look how many containers there are here, right? And I get it. We're in a... I don't know what these containers are good for, but just that's the idea there, though. It's container. Where's the identity in each container here? So that's what we're talking about here. You don't associate explicit important value behind every piece of stimuli in the environment, because you're sacrificing identity, you're sacrificing significance, importance, relevance, or uniquity. You're sacrificing a lot of uniquity through trying to make your environments so large and enormous, trying to go for these grandiose narratives or locations. And of course, with any idea, it's the execution that matters more than anything. But again, I'm just saying, it's like, at some point, why do we not just have some of these other ideas? Why are we not exploring other ways to do these things? Because, in fact, really, realistically, this is always becoming the same thing, if we're being honest about it. And I've gotten to the point where I'm just sitting here and I'm like, we need something new. We need something imaginative. We need to do something risky. You have to find someone that is competent, but they also want to take risks. They want to do the thing that maybe they're afraid, right? Like other people, actually, that's what I mean. They are willing to do the thing that other people are afraid of being laughed at for, right? They want to make a certain type of story that other people, they're like, oh, people would laugh me out of the room if I did that. You need to find someone that's competent and they want to do the most dangerous story that they can imagine. That's what you want. Stop being comfortable and stop it with trying to be comfortable with your storytelling, with your narrative weaving, and that's where we've gotten to now. We're always comfortable with the stories and the worlds that we're creating, to the point that we're sacrificing the identity and the uniquity of the worlds that are being crafted and that people are working on. Again, I don't understand what's going on here, because it's so clear. I mean, there are dudes today who are like Bram Stoker. And again, I haven't finished the book. I'm just saying I enjoyed the first 2, 3, 4 hours, wherever I am in that range, I forget. But I enjoyed the start of that book, okay? I enjoyed that story for what it was and how it was developing during the start. I was enjoying it. And I wondered to myself, it's like, why are we not hiring guys like this who, they understand substance, they understand how to ebb and flow with substance, when you're slow and when you're fast, when you're dark and you're kind of unnerving, and then when everything's light and it's kind of lighthearted, or it's non-threatening, right? Why are we not picking up better writers who understand this kind of balancing act? And ultimately, these guys, men, who have dangerous ideas, risky ideas where you have this creativity of a concept that no one else is really willing to do. You understand, you're competent, and you're going to balance the entire act and ultimately deliver a quality experience. Where is that? I just think it's so clear that we're not really hiring the best in a lot of scenarios. And if it's not hiring the best, that's the issue, then it's just, we're in this weird scenario where we're not seeking out I don't think it's creativity, but we're not seeking out, I mean, ingenuity. We're not seeking that out, no. More specifically, we are not seeking out novelty, and that's the biggest issue. We're not seeking out novelty when we're doing these sorts of stories or these sorts of games or narratives or whatever. Everything is derivative. This is derivative of Dead Space. And then you have the crowd that sits there. And yes, when you end up in a market of saturation, you have the issue of sacrificing uniquity. Implicitly, you sacrifice uniquity. You sacrifice a lot of element. Well, okay, hold up. There's multiple angles actually to take with this, but you are implicitly, in some essence, you are sacrificing the uniquity of the competition. Because eventually a lot of ideas, they overlap, right? But at the same time, what actually ends up happening is that so many people, they follow ideas, they don't make ideas. So in fact, that's never truly an issue. And in fact, even in heavy saturation, you just need to get riskier with your ideas. I mean, you know, there's always a point in time with all this stuff. You know, at one point, Dragon Ball wasn't an idea, and someone made it. At one point, Dragon Age, Elder Scrolls, Fallout, many of these things at once upon a time, they were not ideas, and someone made it an idea. Star Wars was not an idea, someone made it an idea. Lord of the Rings was not an idea, someone made it an idea. Same thing with Norse mythology, go down the list. There's so many of these things that they weren't ideas when they first, well, before they existed, but then they came into being. So the point is, with this, there's a bunch of things right now that are not ideas here, right now. There's a bunch of things in modern cinematic history that were not ideas until they were made, right? Like something like Predator or whatever. So we're sitting here now, and it's so clear that for some reason we're not seeking out novelty any longer. We're not seeking out substance, right? Like people sit there and they make so many excuses for everything. Like, oh, nobody wants a slow story. Nobody wants, oh, you take too long telling the story, going through the narrative and sharing the world and all that. I'm trying to think of a specific example because I remember someone was saying that actually recently, but I forget what it is now. But there's a bunch of people who sit there though, right? And they say this crap where it's like, oh, everybody wants just fast and available, and everyone these people who sit there, they're such freaking raging retards that they presume what everybody wants, or even what's the most effective product. And they never happen to really be the people that are really that ingenious to even understand what makes a good product in the first place, or they don't have it in themselves in the end, okay? Whatever it is. Or they don't have the comprehension of understanding value, understanding substance, but then they speak on the matter of substance, and then they always happen to say the same thing. Go for the cheapest and the easiest stuff, right? How many people for the longest time, for instance, said that people want fast and easy. They want fast and quick when it comes down to news, right? How many people said that? Oh, you can't do this. Oh, you can't do that. People just want 10-minute or 20-minute, or maybe we're really stretching it here, 30-minute news spats or news coverages, right? So when you're on a news agency or whatever, when you're on a news agency's platform or their broadcast, don't go for long. No one's going to stick around for long this, long that. No one's going to stick around for it. No one's interested. Nobody cares. Then a bunch of people went off and they did their own things. They did their own shows. They did their own podcasts. And then they ended up replacing the mainstream agencies that said people want short and fast, which effectively does become cheap. It becomes cheap and inauthentic is what it becomes, and also uninspired. It becomes so possessively and so insanely, so possessive and so insanely constricted in of itself, suffocated, and trapped, that it no longer possesses substance and it no longer provides value. But then there's a bunch of people, they went out of their way and they started doing things where it's like, I'm not going to do something for 20 minutes, I'm going to do something for 3 hours. And then there's a bunch of people who are interested in it, right? Everything comes down to substance. And how do you pack substance within a certain amount of time? And you can go slow with the substance or fast with the substance. But you have these retards that try to act like everything goes by a singular blueprint. And then we end up in this situation where we don't have any ideas any longer. Like now, like with all this. We have this game, we have Still Wakes the Deep, we have a bunch of other games outside of those two. They are all effectively doing the same thing. Let me tell you this right now. Instead of spending 6 hours with a game like this or Still Wakes the Deep, bro, I played Still Wakes the Deep. I only played it for gameplay for like only 5 or I think it was 4.5 hours. It was a pretty short game. Guess what? When I was finishing the game, it was torture for one, but then for two, it felt like I was playing that game for like 10 or 11 hours, and it wasn't 10 or 11 hours. Overall, it was only 7 hours. And on top of that, a lot of that 7 hours was me just talking. For like literally, I think it was 2 or 3 hours overall. I was talking so much in the Still Wakes the Deep playthrough, and I thought it was 10 to 11 hours. That's what I thought it was. And that's because the game had no substance. It was a drag. Guess what? I would rather pick up a game that takes 15 hours to finish instead of 4 hours, but it has substance and maybe go slow with a lot of its substance. I would far rather that than whatever it is that we're experiencing here. This is not enticing. This is not interesting. Quite frankly, it's like, why am I here? Why am I playing this? And that's what I meant rhetorically when I was saying it. Or metaphorically. I mean, either or. But that's why I was saying this game is, in some weird sense, it is depressing to play. Because it's like, wow, I'm playing something that has no value. This is literally just a game to burn your time away. That's it. I don't know what I'm here for, and I don't know what I'm enjoying. The substance is lacking. And I don't know if I ever really enjoyed Dead Space to begin with as a game. I mean, I've played Dead Space games, and I played one on mobile, and I finished it, and it was largely a pretty scary game, I would say. Especially for me at the time. It was a scary game. But I don't see it with this game, like anything with this game. And in fact, I get the sense that my time was wasted more than anything. So that's my giant question is, what do these games have to offer? What do they have of value that keeps me around? And it has nothing. Quite frankly, I am completely disinterested. I can tell that they tried, and I can tell that they put a lot of work and effort into this game. But again, it's just the ideas are not there. That's the biggest issue. That's what drives me nuts, though. There are so many types of games, so many types of stories that nobody's touching right now. There's so many cool concepts that you could be pursuing. Poor execution always soils a good idea. And really, good execution is not bad, but you can't rush yourself. That's why I say you should go slow. Whenever you make something, go slow. Because there's always going and allow your story to infer upon you what you should do next. When you should go slow, when you should go fast. When should there be conflict, when should there not be conflict. The story must speak for itself. It must. But that's the thing. You've got to take your time. When you want to make something of substance or value, you need to take your time with it. And yeah, there's always going to be those retards. Even if no one's really criticizing you, there is always that one random retard somewhere in the freaking corner of the universe that's like, nah, this is taking too long. Nah, this is too much time. Nah. Shut up. Frick. Jeez, man. They don't know what they're talking about. I mean, yeah, you know, things do take way too long sometimes, that they are a drag, but again, there's some people, they act like they know what they're saying and they have no freaking clue whatsoever. That's really what we mean here. Again though, you want to start with substance, and you want, by building substance, you need to take your time. You should take your time. You should be gentle and careful, or well, you know, in some part, but also you should just be modest, and you need to be patient with what it is that you're creating, and whatever it is that you're cultivating. You need to take your time. Do not rush yourself. Do not speed it up. Do not rush it. And that's what we're seeing with a lot of these things, is that we're kind of rushing a lot of ideas. We're kind of throwing a lot of things on screen, in front of your face. You know, it's just, that is the biggest issue with a lot of stuff though nowadays. So much of it is rushing itself. So much of it is rushing itself. So much of it is I'm thinking about some really recent examples. It's pushing off a checklist rather than delivering like a recipe, or delivering an experience, or delivering a construction, or a what's another good word? A construction, or a, it's not manifestation, there's another word for this. But they're not pushing this sort of elaborate design, or this conceptual there's a lot of weird background noises in this game. This kind of conceptual, I'm forgetting the word right now, so I'll just say manifestation. Right, but like, they're not creating a conceptual manifestation of a substantive idea or a string of ideas. They're not doing that. Yeah, I don't know why the word is escaping me at the moment. There's a very specific word I'm trying to find here, but it is definitely escaping me. But again, instead of concocting an intriguing idea, we're here and we just have a checklist of ideas. We're rushing ideas. In the event of a checklist, and whether it's diversity, right? It's like, well, we have to have an Asian here, and well, we have to have a black there. Well, we've got to have a black woman there, and then we have to have a white woman here. And then, okay, that's where the white guys go and all this stuff. But if it's not that, it's just the ideas. It's like, well, we have to have this moment here because people really liked it in that other film. And then we have to have this moment there because people really liked it in that other video game. And it's always derivative of something. Everything is now derivative. And that's the thing I realized. Like, every time I experience anything modern Star Wars, by the way, like Jedi Survivor, everything now modern Star Wars, it's just derivative of old Star Wars, or it's just derivative of other media, specifically Marvel. They are totally Marvelizing freaking Star Wars right now in many different ways. I saw a lot of that in Jedi Survivor. Jeez Louise, Marin and her freaking superpower, that's what it is. And she's a space witch. She's a Night Sister who happens to have the superpower of Doctor Strange. Oh my gosh. It's so derivative, man. It literally looks the same, too. The portals that she creates. It's so stupid. It's just a different color. It's all derivative. Again, these aren't ideas that were concocted and they were fabricated within the minds of creativity and ingenuity. No. These are derivative ideas just copying off of what other people have done already, what other people have created, specifically other men. And these are not dangerous ideas. These are not risky ideas. All this does, these are comfortable ideas. This is what other people have done. This is what other people have already been the trailblazers for. Sorry, other people, other men. And now, we're sitting here and we're just seeing a lot of rehashed crap. What a waste of time this is. There's no substance, and this is not why people purchase these products. There needs to be substance first and foremost. You need to go slow. You need to take your time when you have substance. You should not and you cannot be rushing everything all the time. Or if it's not all the time, you shouldn't be rushing things in a lot of these scenarios. Regardless. So anyways, man, I think that's all my thoughts on this game. Super uninspired. And I did go an hour deeper into this game than I planned. Or I guess realistically, yeah, about an hour. Or 50 minutes. I did not enjoy this. Again, man, like something like Metal Gear Solid. That used to be an idea. There's so many things that have been ideas. And now, I don't know what our ideas are. I don't know what we're exactly doing. If I'm being quite honest, I have no idea. None of this is inspired, that's for sure. But there was a time where we had so many new ideas for so many different things. You know, the Nier games, Nier Replicant, Nier Automata, those are weird kind of ideas. And they're different. You know, at one point, God of War was a new idea. Like, there was a time where we just had new ideas. Then we just removed men and we removed masculinity out of the gaming market. And now this is where we're at. We have so many products that are now just derivative of everything that has come before. Oh my God. You know, so many people talk like this. When you know anything about these industries, so many people, you will be trained on this. If you go and take courses, you try to get training in like, oh, let me make a movie, let me make a book, let me go make a video game, let me go make these things. What people will tell you is like, how are you going to market what you made? How are you going to tell people? How are you going to pitch it to them? Oh, let me think of how I'm going to pitch it. Think of like Born Identity or whatever the frick. Okay, forget that. I don't remember whatever that was called. So, okay, think James Bond plus Iron Man. My new idea. Think Doctor Strange and an Adam Sandler movie. That's my great idea. Think Barbie and think Cthulhu. That's my grand idea. It's all this freaking stuff where it's just derivative of other people's ideas. It's, let's just mash up a bunch of things that people like, and then let's sell a crappy product that's just copying what other people have made, and then you're basically doing a weird like crossover. Oh, let's do cyberpunk plus medieval Tolkien. Okay, bro. Awesome. And there's so many people that try to sell things, and they do sell things off of being derivative. But this is what kills an industry. This is what kills products, is the second you're seeking out to be derivative. The second you're doing that, well, there you go. You don't have a product. You do not. You don't have an idea. And that's the issue, is that so many people are attached to this idea, this concept. I have to be possessed by previous ideas. I have to sell my whatever it is I'm creating, my concepts, my whatever conceptions. I have to leverage into what has been. I have to leverage into what someone else has already created, and then I have to sell on that. Oh, it's Star Wars meets Wild West. You know, like Star Wars meets Clint Eastwood or whatever. It's it's Iron Man or Captain America. It's Captain America meets Dracula. Okay, again, what the frick are we doing here? And this is what these industries have turned into. It's this idea meets this idea. Okay. You don't have an idea. You should never. I don't care how much money someone has. I don't care if an investor wants to know. Enough. When they ask, okay, what'd you make? It's, honestly, I just made something that was like medieval fantasy and that's it. I made something medieval fantasy, but quite frankly, I went out of my way to make it as a unique and explicit idea. Its own creation. I didn't go out to be like anything else. All I know is it's kind of medieval, it's kind of fantasy, and that's it. That's what I did. I made something. It was kind of space opera, kind of something else. It's space marine space opera. But I didn't go out of my way to make it like that, but you could say it's synonymous in some weird way to that. But if you're an investor or if you're a customer, whatever layer of money that you have that you're spending on a product, right? Your question should always be, did you have an idea when you made what you made? And not only that, more explicitly, it should be, so what were you trying to do when you made this, right? What is this product like? And you should be looking for the person that sits there and tells you, I wasn't trying to make anything based on anything else. I just made something. It's in space. There's standoffs with blasters. There's these glowing swords of light. That's it. That's what I made. That's my idea. Let's call it a space drama. Okay, that's what I made. It's dramatic and it's in space. Space drama. There you go. That is what you should be looking for. You should be looking for someone that cannot tell you it's exactly like these other people's ideas or these other things that have come before. You want someone that sits there and they say, I made something that is basically around these concepts and these ideas these concepts and this sorts of information or these sort of locations, right? It's like it's in space or it's underground or something like that, right? But I didn't go out of my way to copy anyone else. And quite frankly, I can't tell you who the frick else is like my stuff. You should never seek out to make something that you can say, oh, it's like Conan. Oh, it's like H.P. Lovecraft. anytime someone sits there and they're like that, or they say that to you, you have a bad product on your hands. You always want someone to sit there and say to you, I don't know what the frick my stuff is like. I just know it's here, it went there, and there's these things going on here, here, and there, and everywhere. Okay, that's what I made. That's what you want to hear. Every single time. And that was the issue, by the way. I don't know the entirety of the story. That is in some part, right? Like George Lucas, when he made Star Wars, he had a hard time at first basically marketing it or defining it, because he was making something that was not really trying to exactly mirror or copy anything else. And he was having a hard time saying exactly what it was. As I remember, it was like, okay, no, I forget. I could probably look it up, but anyway, he didn't know what to exactly call it when it first came out, Star Wars. And he was having that issue. Well, people say he was having that issue. Maybe it wasn't much of an issue in the end. I don't know. So people say that he was having the problem, though, of exactly telling people what it was. And specifically, when he's talking to studio heads, they're like, so what is Star Wars? He's like, oh, well, it's, I don't, and he was trying to define it, but it's like he wasn't trying to make something that directly mirrors anything. So he was having a hard time telling people exactly, explaining the idea. Well, it's this and it's that, and it has all these aliens and these monsters, and it's in space, and it's light swords, and it's all these things, right? And so he just sat there, and one of the stories is that he showed to, I think it was studio heads or investors, whatever. He showed to them, oh, it's right, it's like dogfighting but in space. So he showed them World War II clips of dogfighting and all that. And he said, that, but in space. Trying to explain to them his idea. Obviously, Star Wars is bigger than that. But that's something that he had to do back then to try and sell the idea is, oh, it's like this to that. Something that you already know. But that's the issue, is that Lucas was having a hard time exactly telling people what it is that he was making, because there was actual ingenuity, creativity going behind the product, and he wasn't going out of his way to copy other people. It should be difficult to pin down what you've created. Anytime you create something that is difficult to pin down exactly what it is, you've made something good. You've made something great. You made something that time should be spent on this product. You want to create something that is hard to categorize. You want to create something that is difficult for someone to say, oh, it's like that. Oh, it's... You want to avoid any marker of being or becoming derivative. And you never want to seek out being derivative. Oh, I went out of my way to just copy this. I went out of my way to copy that. All the blah, blah, blah. Because there's a bunch of people, they really do. They try to copy a bunch of stuff. It's so stupid. It's like, oh my gosh, you have no business in the freaking industry if you're just trying to copy stuff. And I think even saying what you're inspired by is a bad idea. You never want to state what you are inspired by, because just because you're inspired by something doesn't mean that the idea that you created is exactly like it. Like, let's say I read Dracula and it inspires me. It could inspire me to go ahead and make Warhammer 40,000, literally, or something else. But let's say I read Dracula and I want to make this like dark, semi-dystopian, but semi-like Crusaders in space kind of universe or world or story or narrative, right? And then what happens to be that you made was, let's say, Warhammer 40,000 or something of that like, with space marines and whatnot. But the thing is that there are ideas that are not connected to each other that can ultimately reinforce each other. You can see something that just stirs within your mind a weird creativity spark. You can watch Star Wars and then suddenly you want to make a weird like superhero in the medieval times. like a weird like farmer, a farmer that has these weird powers. It has nothing to do with Star Wars, but you have this weird kind of superhero farmer in the medieval times. For some reason, watching Star Wars or something else inspired you to make something that really is not that interconnected. Now, yeah, Luke is, you know, he's technically a farmer that ended up having superpowers, you know, but that's not the idea, of course. But again, you can do things, you can see things and have just these wild ideas that are not really that connected. I mean, okay, again, like you can look at a game like a Final Fantasy game, and then suddenly you want to make a weird story around marine biology, and it's like this weird kind of like Atlantis narrative, but it's like it's not Atlantis. It's like this weird kind of technological future, like a steampunk technological Atlantis kind of weird story, right? You could do something like that. And you were just inspired for some reason when you saw one of the Final Fantasy games. It just sparked for you that idea, and then you just went out and you did it. The thing is that just because you're inspired by something does not mean it's directly connected or symmetrical to what it is that you will or want to create. And that's the issue. Again, so many people, they want this idea, oh, I made this thing, it's like this other thing. Well, that doesn't matter. Like, even if someone tells you, well, okay, the thing I made was inspired by this and that, you know, I made, let's say I made Cyberpunk and I was inspired by Conan. Well, those two things are really not the same at all. And like an investor would sit there and be like, when you make the end product, after they give you their money, they'd be like, I saw that Conan thing. This Cyberpunk stuff does not at all. It doesn't look like it at all. This makes no sense. And yeah, that's the issue though. It's like you can be completely inspired by something, but then your ideas from that thing are not connected. Because ultimately you're inspired by something, but you want to carry on and make your own ideas, right? So this is the issue that we see with so many industries today, is that for one, we're not hiring men. For one, we have vilified masculinity. That's a huge issue. And of course, wokeness is all a part of that. But outside of that, we have these issues where now no one's taking the risks to just create their own ideas. And you want someone that will create dangerous ideas. What is a dangerous idea? Ultimately, well, it's many things. We've already defined what it is, but also what is a dangerous idea? You can't categorize it. You can't label it. You can't describe it. It's just there. And effectively, a dangerous idea is typically something that spawns its own genre, or if it's not spawning a genre, it becomes a trailblazer. That is what's dangerous, is being a trailblazer within any of these industries. Nowadays, we don't see that anymore. We don't see any trailblazers, and now we keep on getting these products here, like this game, where I've been here before. I've seen this before. There's so many games, so many stories exactly like this. It goes by the same blueprint. Seriously, what are we doing? This is what I mean. You want to have ideas that are uncomfortable. You want to have ideas that are unfamiliar. You want to have ideas that people, they can't think in their own head what it is that you're describing. I mean, yeah, right, you can convey it, but when you're describing it to someone, they should be having a hard time understanding what you're saying about your idea. They should be, okay, again, assuming you're not a retard and all that, again, you can actually convey the information, all that, but again, it has to be something that is hard and difficult for someone to wrap their mind around. It's like, wait. Space, light swords, blasters, what? Once upon a time, that was really confusing for people, that idea. And then Lucas made it. You want to be exactly that. You want to be the person, you describe to someone what it is that your idea is. And like, they can, let's say it's like this. They understand every single word behind what it is that you're describing. They understand every single word that you're using. They understand what every single individual word means, but when it's all strung together, it makes no sense. So then in the end, it's like, okay, I understand what you meant. Okay, space opera, space blasters, space swords, okay? But I don't understand what you mean with the space sword part of it all. I understand space and I understand swords. I don't understand whatever the frick space swords are. I don't understand this, that, the other. You want that, and I'm not saying that's a hard and fast rule, but roughly speaking, that's what you want. You want to have an idea where someone cannot conceive of how you're marrying together certain concepts or ideas. You want it to be difficult to comprehend. That's what you want it to be. You know, ultimately comprehensible. It's just that it requires basically a high level of comprehension, or it's just unfamiliar. Whatever it is, that's where you want to be when you're creating something. And then once you've made it, someone sits there and they're like, "Oh my gosh, that's absolute dog water horse crap." Like some people said about Star Wars when it first came out. And then eventually it becomes the greatest freaking franchise IP that's ever existed. Bigger than Star Trek, bigger than freaking Lord of the Rings, bigger than everything ever. It makes freaking buco bucks. Jeez Louise, man, how many people were excited about The Force Awakens? Because off of all the goodwill of George Lucas, people were like, we're gonna get another freaking trilogy for Star Wars. They were so excited. There were Playboy models talking about it, bro. That was huge. Nowadays, I don't know. I mean, I think even today, maybe it's still a big deal. I would say so. But it's like, that was so huge. The fact that even Playboy models were talking about, I'm super excited for Star Wars Force Awakens. So many people. Now, of course, there's an issue whenever you think that just because somebody's a fan to your work, that then they're entitled like representation, or they're entitled this, they're entitled, like they need to be pandered to in some way. That becomes an issue. You should never pander to anybody, no matter how successful you become. But because then you just sacrifice the product when you start pandering to a bunch of people and a bunch of groups. But and just because you're a fan of something, right? Just because you're a fan of like Dragon Ball does not mean that it should represent you if you're outside of like the culture of Dragon Ball, which is largely an Asian culture. I mean, really, that's what it is overwhelmingly. Anyway. And that's what it's inspired from, overwhelmingly, with a lot of its ideas. A lot of its wackiness, Dragon Ball, comes from Asian culture. So anyway. But that's where we see ourselves right now. Is... well, actually, okay, but let's finish this. But that's what's so insane, is that Star Wars was so successful that there was a bunch of different people that you wouldn't expect to be talking about rather casually about Star Wars and being excited for it, fanatic for it, saying that they're a fan. You know, whether or not they're a fan, that's a whole other conversation, but they say that they're a fan. Jeez Louise, man. Star Wars went from something that was difficult for investors or whoever the frick, these high-level dudes, to comprehend. It went from something that a lot of people said was trash and that people said, oh, this isn't good, and it became the biggest thing. And by the way, same thing with Tolkien. His own, like when people read Fellowship of the Ring, and I can have my own things, by the way, to criticize about it, but ultimately it's overall fine. But a bunch of people said that what he wrote was absurd, and this was ridiculous, and it was stupid. A bunch of people hated on freaking Lord of the Rings, specifically the first book, when it came out. To the point that even Tolkien himself, he made his own comments about it. And then it becomes one of the biggest properties. I don't know if it's right next to Star Wars. I would say it pretty much maybe is. I would say it largely is, but geez, at least Tolkien became one of the biggest things ever. And that's the thing, though, is that You have to do dangerous ideas. And dangerous ideas, what does that mean? There are so many people, they're going to sit there and be like, I don't know what the frick this is. They're going to be confused by it. They're going to be like, this is absurd. This is stupid. This is, what the frick did you just do? And they're going to sit there and say that it's like, okay, you know, they're going to be like, I don't know how to categorize this. Like, one second, I think it's a romance. Next second, I think it's a fantasy. Next second, it's dark freaking fiction. Like, what is going on here? One second, it's crime. The next second, it's steampunk. What is this? That's what you want. You want people to be confused. You want people to suffer with their comprehension. You want it. Not because you're a retard, but because... but because you actually made something that was new, that is novelty. And you're always going to have those haters who come out of the woodworks and they sit there and they're like, what the F is this mother effing novelty? This is stupid. Another way of saying all this is that you want to piss off those people who are expecting and they demand derivation. They demand mundanity. They demand familiarity. You want those exact people that demand what is derivative and what is familiar. You want them pissed off. That is one of the greatest metrics, is that when those people get pissed off, when they're like, what the frick did you just make? I don't really know what you're making because this does not fall into the lines of what I have told myself to expect as continual, not reproducible, but continual, maybe reliable is the word, right? This kind of reliable fiction. This continual, reliable fiction. People who sit there and they expect continuous, reliable fiction. You want to piss those people off. If you want to make something that people actually give a crap about, that's actually interesting, that's actually new, you want to make a legitimate product, you have to piss off the people that want continual, reliable fiction. You have to piss those people off. And by the way, it's not very fun at first either, by the way, because I have dealt with that myself. You make something, you create it, and then people are like, I have no idea what this is. I have no idea what category to put this in, because 1 second it's this, 1 second it's that. And then they're like, this is not familiar to this, and this is not familiar to that. And, you know, you'll deal with these issues, and at first it doesn't feel great. It was like, that's exactly though, like, just that it brings it all full circle though. Like, when I'm seeing this game, it's like, this is exactly the issue that we're seeing within this industry and a bunch of other industries, is that no one wants to do dangerous fiction anymore. No one wants to do dangerous ideas anymore. Nobody wants to make the people who want what is comfortable, what is reliable, what is familiar, to make those people pissed off. Nobody wants to do that. Everybody wants to sit here and they just want to make a bunch of derivative horse crap so that the people who are expecting recycled, rehashed, freaking nonsense like this, so that those people can be pleased. And that's who they make a lot of this kind of crap for, what we're experiencing here. Again, I appreciate with this game, like what they were trying to do and what they were going for and the work that they put into this. But let's just face it. There's so much to this that is not creative. There's so much to this that is derivative. And again, that's exactly what we need. We need uncomfortable fiction. We need something, and like, see, I don't like Game of Thrones. But at the end of the day, you need something like that, right? You need stuff that ultimately is dangerous fiction. You need to approach ideas that everyone else is unwilling to go for. And, you know, maybe you make something that people don't like. Maybe you make something that other people like, right? And that's what Game of Thrones is for me. I don't like it at all. But some people like it. And I don't know if I really think good things about people who like Game of Thrones, but But you need that you need experimentation for there to even be creativity to begin with. But you need that experimentation within a market, and once you lose that experimentation, that's where you start to have issues. So it's always good that you do have these other things out there. Anyway, I think I'm probably forgetting a couple of things in saying all this, but regardless of it all, I'm definitely uninstalling the game after this. I'm not that interested, okay? You know what, screw this. Before we head out with this game, we are going to be continuing the stream after this. We are going to show off Tifa as I close out, but jeez Louise, bro, freaking Tifa is a dangerous idea, by the way. You don't realize, especially nowadays, actually. A female as attractive as Tifa, she has now become a dangerous idea. No one else is willing to do it. Quite honestly, no one else is willing to do it, frickin' A. It's so pathetic. Yeah. No one's willing to create a chick who's busty, who's hot, who's sexy, and also hits the gym. No one's willing to do that. Nobody, because they're all gay. And that is true. A lot of modern developers, they are homosexuals. Anyway. We're gonna be switching games here in a second, but yeah, dude, I mean, those are my thoughts overall with this game. Obviously, a lot has been said, a lot has been dug into. So, hold on a minute. I need to check something real quick. Yeah, okay, we're good. Anyway, yeah, so anyways, we've had a lot to say, and we've dug into quite a bit with all of this. I mean, that's what this game is, though, right? That's what this game is lacking. Everything that we spoke about, and that is what the industry is lacking overwhelmingly. Is so much that I just detailed through. You don't understand how desperate I am, and how much I yearn for, and you know, I am making my own stories, right? And I am writing my own stuff. So, okay, and I love a lot of the stories I have made. And there's a bunch of stories I have yet to write, by the way, that I love those stories already, but of course I haven't actually put it onto paper, which is really annoying, you know? Like, it takes so much energy and so much time. Converting your thoughts and your ideas onto page, it really does. Especially when you're trying to do something that isn't something that's new, something that isn't derivative. And that's for me, like a lot of my own stuff, that's what I've gone out of my way to do. But it sucks because it takes a lot of time. Yeah, oh my gosh. Jeez Louise. I mean, you can crank out a book, for instance, within like 3 days if you don't really have a unique idea, but it's going to take you weeks, a month. It's going to take you a long time if you're trying to create something that is really, because it's one thing to have your ideas, but it's another thing to make it both cohesive and also to make sure that you're not screwing it up anywhere within it, but also don't become too mindful of what you're doing, because then you start sabotaging yourself. It is this crazy juggling act. It's not the craziest thing in the world. It's pretty crazy to do, but it's not like it's impossible. It's not that kind of difficulty, but it's like, man, it is taxing when you're trying to convert your ideas and your thoughts, and you're trying to, because this is the issue too, your mind is running faster, right? There's this one issue, is that your mind is running faster than your own mouth can speak, right? Something like that. But then even worse is your mind is running faster than you can freaking type or, you know, write down your narrative. So like, I can think of a story in my head within 2 hours, right? An entire book. Now, writing that book is going to take like 1 week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks, depending on how long that book is. But it's like, what can take 2 hours of you thinking it through will take hours upon hours across multiple days. Again, depending on the length, and then depending on the quality that you're trying to ensure through the narrative, holy crap, it takes a long time. So, you know, that's a whole thing there. I forget what I was saying before that. But, okay, yeah. Oh, shoot, I need water. What the F? Anyway. But that's the thing. You have no idea how much I am yearning for proper storytelling. Because whenever I pick up a game, I want to experience a product to which I enjoy. This is something I do not enjoy. This is something to which I'm playing it and I'm like, I'm just wasting my time here. You know? And this is an issue with a lot of games like Stellar Blade. This is an issue with games like The First Descendant. A lot of those games, they rely upon having a sexy female character to keep you in that story, right? And there's a lot of stories like that. There's a bunch of movies, television shows. I mean, geez, a bunch of anime is exactly like that. The whole story is centered around blue-balling the main character. This guy just, for some reason, he refuses to undress the female character, the main or the other, whatever number. He refuses to undress the female characters and have sex with them and finally act on his sexual interests. So the entire time you're following this character in an entire narrative where he's being blue-balled to freaking death. You know, he's sitting there, a girl will literally make this freaking androgynous bullcrap, but she will literally make the move on the man. She'll literally fall into him, and then he awkwardly has his freaking hand on some part of her body. And, you know, it's always the women making the move on the guy, and it takes freaking eons for the freaking romance to develop. It's so much in anime. It's so freaking bad. It freaking sucks. Oh my gosh. But it's like, again, freaking A, man. It's just, okay, back to the point I was making. Let's just go back to what I was saying. I mean, you know, it's just so annoying. It's so annoying that we do this with these freaking stories. Anyways, though, I'm just yearning for stories, though, that actually provide... Okay, fine. Let's finish that thought process just real quick. It's just annoying, okay? And there's a bunch of stories that rely upon you holding out for the romance to inevitably develop, but barely develop. I mean, Jesus, that's what they did with Mara Jade and Luke Skywalker in the Thrawn trilogy. It's like, geez, you know, there's this hot chick that apparently is super busty and all this stuff, and that Luke is just blue-balling you and himself on the romantic development between himself and Mara Jade. Again, this is such a bad trend in everything. It's just blue-balling the freaking viewer, the freaking audience, whatever. You don't have a story, and that is what the Thrawn trilogy is, by the way. There is no story there. Freaking screw that trilogy. But this is the issue. Okay, but not specifically with that trilogy. But this is the issue with anime, is that you're only sticking around for this inevitable romance to eventually develop, which is taking eons to get through. Frick. There's no substance to the narrative. There's only sex appeal, which sucks. You know what's awesome about Final Fantasy VII? You know, there's things I don't really like about Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. The ending is terrible. They drag it out, but there's many other elements I do love. I do love the sincerity. I love the kindred-heartedness of the characters and of the worlds. I do love many elements to it. I do hate all the ESG and a lot of the gay, homosexual nonsense that they throw and they litter into Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. It's not so much in Remake. Remake was a pretty good game overall, considering all things. But like, right? Final Fantasy VII is a game that has, the remake specifically, has a lot of sex appeal. The women are sexy. The women are beautiful. All that. And you're holding out for this romance that is developing. I mean, it's still being blue-balled to freaking death, but it is developing. I mean, in the second game, for one, Cloud does end up kissing Tifa, so okay, that's cool. And, you know, you can have him kiss Aerith. No. Oh, that's right. He doesn't kiss her. Anyway, So at least that develops there. But there's actually a narrative going on for Final Fantasy VII. There's actually a plot developed. There's actual characters. There's sex appeal and an actual idea to the story, right? Nier Automata is a great game. There's a huge narrative developing throughout the entirety of that game and its multiple endings. But there's also the sex appeal of 2B. 2B is hot. Not as hot as other characters, but there's a story there. And let's just face it, bro. Let's just face it. Nathan Drake. I love Uncharted 3, by the way. That is my favorite story out of all the games. But, Nathan Drake, let's just face it, he's basically sex appeal for women. Even though mostly dudes are playing that game, but I mean, he's a cool dude to look at. It's like, dang, I want to be freaking Nathan Drake, right? Nathan Drake, though, right? He has sex appeal as a character, and there's a cool narrative following that guy. But there's this issue nowadays that we see with games like Stellar Blade where the story is thin as ice. Honestly, it sucks, okay? And I have not finished it, but I've gone through quite a bit of it. It's not good, okay? I don't know really like what's the point behind the story besides there's a bunch of hot women running around in skin-tight outfits, which is amazing. I freaking love it. If only we had a story plus the sex appeal, but of course we don't have that. But I mean, like, geez, at least Metal Gear Solid 5, that is a game that has sex appeal through Quiet. Jeez, at least, bro. Oh, freaking Quiet, bro. Jeez. I'm making a video on this, by the way. Games need to be problematic again. Men and women. Men and women. They need to be problematic again. Freaking A. I want a skimpily dressed, a freaking scantily dressed female in a story again, okay? And I want her sexualizing herself like Quiet sexualizes herself with her enormous breasts in Metal Gear Solid 5, okay? I want problematic women in games again. I am so sick and tired of all these games that we get nowadays. I want freaking problematic men in games again. Solid Snake or whatever the frick. Snake in general as a character. I want that character again, and the other guys surrounding him, all those problematic men, I want them back. Freaking Kratos, bringing back that guy, problematic man. And remember all those freaking problematic women that he was freaking banging, and they were all freaking naked and hot, and they have freaking enormous breasts. Freaking amazing. I love those games for that alone. We need to bring back problematic characters. I'm so freaking fed up with this freaking pussified nonsense that we're getting nowadays. All this freaking feminized nonsense. This freaking cock simulator over and over and over again. Joel in Last of Us 2, it's a freaking cock simulator. Jeez Louise, man. And then, we can look at freaking God of War Ragnarok. That's a freaking cock simulator. Freaking Kratos sitting there. Atreus is off being a freaking moron. Douchebag nonsense, freaking moron. And then he literally sits there on multiple occasions and he tells his father, be better, be better, be better. Screw you, Atreus. And Kratos, I want you to grab your spear and I want you to do the deed. What the frick are you doing, Kratos? What the frick? Jeez Louise, man. Grab your freaking spear and bring an end to this freaking runt. Jeez Louise, just start it all over again. Find a hotter wife. Not Freya, screw that chick. Wow, she's ugly. Anyway. Find a freaking sexy woman like you found in the previous games. Have a freaking child with her and start it all over because you screwed up. You screwed up getting with that freaking chick, and then you screwed up getting with, you screwed up getting with that chick, and then you screwed up having her impregnated, having Atreus. What the frick are you doing, Kratos? Mother F. Anyway. Cuckoldry Simulator. Frick. But this is what we're talking about here. These are the problems that we're seeing. So again, you have no idea how much I yearn for proper storytelling. Many of the things that I've shared already, I just want interesting stories again. I don't want to pick up a game and have my time royally wasted. By the way, screw Final Fantasy 16. That's also a cuckoldry simulator in a different way, but screw that game. Also, that game blue balls you to freaking death with freaking Clive and the freaking Jill, and oh my god, screw that game. Love of God. What the frick are we doing? Again, give us back freaking, I mean, geez, like Agent 47, he used to be a problematic male. Freaking A. And then they try to wokeify him a little bit, and what was the game called? I mean, it was like a continuous game, but they called it Hitman, I think 1, 2, and 3, the reboots, but it was all effectively the same game, whatever. But geez Louise, man. We need to get back to frickin' actual masculinity with all this stuff. Anyway, let's finish at one point though. Again, this is the issue though, is that you have so many of these other types of games, and like the first Descendant is another great example. The story is terrible. The way that they set it up is terrible. Oh my gosh, there's so much that is so bad within the first Descendant. I mean, what the frick were they thinking? The person that made the trailer is so much greater as a storyteller than whoever the frick wrote. You know what? Let's just get out of this game. I'm done with the background soundtrack. We're gonna do I guess a save. I don't know why I'm doing it. I'm never coming back. I literally right here. I'm going to uninstall this game right here. Okay, we are uninstalling. I did not enjoy this. That's all I can tell you. Okay, and we need to end this video soon so that I can get it rendered. But anyway, oh frick. But that's the thing, bro, is that we're looking at so many. The issue with First Descendant is that it's such a bad game, but it has sex appeal, right? The women are so freaking hot. I love them. I love the women. They're freaking sexy, but there's no story. So it's just, again, like, this is a huge issue right now today, is that we don't have the soul that a lot of older games had. Let's just face it. We don't have the creativity today that a lot of older games had. I don't know what is happening. There's so many games that just have so much personality. It's so weird. There's so many games that basically came out before 2016 that had so much personality. I mean, I even think about the first Smite 2. I'm gonna be honest, it does not feel like it's about to come out soon. I've been getting this feeling that it doesn't have as much personality as Smite itself. There's something about Smite itself that has so much personality as a game. And man, the women are sexy, frick. Smite 2 is something I worry about. It doesn't have the personality that Smite has. And again, bring back problematic, masculine, feminine. I'm so fed up with this. Bring back men that are problematic, masculine. Bring back women who are problematic, feminine. Enough with this trash. But I'm seeing a lot of these games, and it's like everything feels so soulless. Everything feels so, wait, that's strange. I'm not even going to mention it here. I'm just looking at the cover art for Predecessor. They removed Shinbi and they replaced her with Murdoch on the cover photo. Okay, I guess I am stating it. What the frick? Anyway, I mean, that's just stupid. I wonder if it's done with its update. Anyway, I don't know why they did that. Why do they never, wow, that is so dumb. Whatever. Anyway. But this is the thing that we're seeing as a huge problem nowadays, is that a lot of stories, they don't have substance. And a lot of stories now, they rely upon a lot of, oh my god, dude. Oh, they added new skins. Oh. And they came out with a new patch. They're calling it Predecessor 1.0.
Lovely.
Why are they calling it that? Okay, so they added new skins. Oh, and they added a new character. Well, that took forever. She looks like a... Okay, let me show you. Okay, this is somehow... This is literally bleeding into my Callisto Protocol video, but who cares? Oh, frick. Give me a second. I need to reset that. Okay, there we go. We're good. Yeah, this is literally from Pandora, or whatever the frick. The Blue People movie that one dude made. Now, she's thin, okay. She does have breast size, okay. I mean, I'm happy with that, I guess. She has a nice butt, if we can actually look at it. Frick, screw you, you freaking biatch, and your freaking cape. Screw you, you piece of trash. Let me see your freaking anus. Let me see it. Screw you. Anyway, this chick is on the cover. Man, she is tall. And I would smash. Look at this trash though. Disgusting. Gee, I wonder why this game freaking died originally. Freaking A. Is this a good character? I wonder.
This battle is already over.
Oh my, that is expensive for a character. What the frick? Why? Why would you do that? Oh my gosh. That's so messed up. Okay, these are better skins than they had previously. Here, let me go follow the link. Let me read this trash. But anyway, I'm gonna finish what I was saying. But that's the issue with so much modern storytelling today, is that a lot of it is, there's no substance. And even the stories that we're getting now, like First Descendant and Stellar Blade, which represents a larger issue with television, movies, and books, definitely books. There's so many stories out there now where we waste people's time. And what it is that you're blue-balling your freaking audience with a romance that's developing that takes forever to get to the point of, right? Which is, okay, is the guy gonna just get with the freaking chick that's hot and sexy and attractive? Love of God, like that's all we care about. And they drag it out. And that's the issue. You have so many of these stories, and I think they're calling them now like isekai stories. I think that's what they're. I don't know what the frick isekai is, but I've seen how it's spelled, and it's just really annoying. It's like, why is this a genre? But okay, it is. But these are stories that commonly have no substance, but they have sexy chicks, which is great. But again, we're just seeing such an issue nowadays. You never used to see a problem with uniquity in products. You never used to see a problem with personality being brought to characters, and now you do. And I was about to mention this. Predecessor is another game that has a huge issue with identity. It has a huge issue with personality. You know what? Let's just go back in. I mean, I'll just show you. Look at these characters, man. And I've spoken about this before. This game heavily lacks personality behind the characters. Wait, why does it have this affinity? Okay, oh. Okay. I guess I took that. Anyway. Look at the characters here. And this is what I mean when I talk about this for so many products. Look at this chick. Like, there's something soulless about all of this. There's something soulless about it. It's so strange. But it's like, these characters, and again, I've spoken about this at greater detail.
Forward. Give all you have.
Are you seeing it yet?
Welcome, the architect.
Okay, sorry, the game's a little loud.
This is my battle.
But look at this, right? You see what I'm talking about? Yeah, they replaced this guy on the cover for the game on the storefront, even though once you get into the game, it's this biatch right here that's on the front.
Oh yeah, let's go.
Which, I don't know why these games, they don't put the most desirable people on the front. I don't get it. But yeah, I mean, look at this. This is so soulless. These characters and these designs. it's so weird because it's like, it's so discombobulated, all of it. It's very strange. Very strange. There's no personality. By the way, this should be a freaking hot chick, and I don't like the build on this chick. Bleh, bleh, bleh. Look at this. I mean, I can't, it's just so soulless. This feels like it's something straight out of like maybe Lord of the Rings or Warhammer. There's a faction that looks just like this guy, so I don't know if that's what it's from. But I mean, look at this. I mean, this is the most personality I think I've seen in a character, but there's something weird about him that there still feels like there's this weird sense of like soullessness. It's really weird. I don't know. The personality is lacking in a lot of games coming out after 2016 because, you know, if I show to you Smite, there's a personality behind the characters. It's so weird. And this is the thing I noticed with so many older games. I mean, you look at League of Legends, the characters have a lot of personality. Even if some of them are arguably a little bit more generic than others, there's a lot of personality. And there's something weird how we're lacking personality with a lot of things being made nowadays. And of course, as I was saying about, you've got to have dangerous ideas. You've got to be willing to, well, for one, you can't be seeking to be derivative of anything or anyone. But here, let me show you. Look at these. Look at these characters. All right. So this is Achilles. All right. Now this game's been going on for a while, so I mean, it feels like there's this personality, right? Just looking at a character, you can see the personality. And of course, some more than others, but I mean, look here, you feel that personality. You feel that kind of like Mayan, he exudes this weird kind of like mystical Mayan persona, right? I get like, you see that personality there. Even in Smite 2, it feels like there's a little bit of a lacking personality. It's really weird. But like, I look at these characters and there's just a lot of personality to them. I don't know why. As old as this game is, right? There's personality to so much of it. Just by looking at it, you get a sense of personality behind the characters. Frick, Aphrodite. What's up? Frick. But I mean, even Aphrodite, just looking at her, there's a personality behind her. Look at her face and there's just, and then her breasts. You can also look at her breasts. But there's a personality to these characters. It's so weird because there's something that feels so sanitized about a lot of modern day characters, and a lot of modern day products coming out. It's very strange. And some of these characters are more recent. I don't think they're having a hard time making a lot of recent characters have personality. Not too much. I don't know what it is. Yeah, frick, a Wheelix. Jeez, by the way, I have a hotness ranking video for this game. I haven't worked on it yet. It is recorded. Yeah, and I don't want to sit here for long. But look, is right. So you see the personality, and you can see the difference. All of these characters, they possess a persona. It's very strange. And then, of course, hold up. We got to show off freaking, Bastet. I'm going to be honest, though, Bastet should look more like her card art. Her card art is freaking sexy. She does not look like her card art. If she looked more like her card art, I'd be down bad every day. But, oh, shoot. Where is it? Like Shock. Shock has personality just by looking at him, right? There's something unique to all these characters when you look at them. Love of God, dodgy, bro. Frick, man. Cthulhu has personality. Just looking at him, right? And this is the thing that I don't see in a lot of games now. There's something weird where it's just, again, like, everything feels so sanitized. Okay, where's Neath? Frickin' A. Oh, Ishtar, bro. Frick, I'm down bad. Oh, dear God. I don't know, there's something about her. I look at her, I'm down bad. Where's Neath? But again, like, this is one of the older characters. Oh my gosh. Frick. Dear God. But again, there's so much personality in this game. You can feel it through the characters, and you can feel it through Neath's breasts as well. And Aphrodite, and Dodgy, and all the other ones. But, so that's what I'm talking about when we're looking at these games. Just look at this, right? The idle anime. This is what... Do you see that? Do you see that in a lot of modern games today? There's just this personality that is so lacking now. It's so strange. It's so strange. And like, again, like, I could talk about that and say what it is, but we are bringing an end to this video and we are switching games soon. So, but this is what I'm talking about, man. It's just, and then jiggle physics. We don't have jiggle physics anymore in our games. What the frick? I mean, okay, Stellar Blade had jiggle physics. That was awesome. But again, I mean, all that game was a sexy chick. That was it. That's it. The story was dog crap, okay? And I haven't finished it, but I mean, everything I have experienced so far, terrible. There's just nothing going on. So, again, bro, this is what I'm talking about. And man, bro, the freaking jiggle, we need to bring back more jiggle physics. What are we doing? Oh my gosh. Perfect. This freaking female. Holy crap. Anyway. So, everything I had to say about Callisto Protocol, right? The game is just not impressive, and I see the same issues that game continuates, really. Yeah, I mean that goes back to what we were actually saying earlier. I mean, that's the thing, right? Continual, reliable fiction, right? Oh, shoot, hold up. Neath and her other skin. This is a skin that's going into freaking Smite 2. Frick. Jeez, man. So anywho, but that's what we're talking about here, is when we look at a game like Callisto Protocol, it's just a continual piece of what we've been getting recently. And it just like, by the end of playing that game, right? Because I wasn't talking a whole lot during it. I was kind of like downloading what exactly I thought of the game. But it's like, I got down to the point, it's like, yeah, we are really seeing this problem. And it's just becoming ever so more clear. The more that you see this within one game after another game after another, it's, jeez, man. It's so bad. By the way, Black Myth Wukong. Okay, I need to bring an end to this video soon. I'll say this as the last thing. Black Myth Wukong came out recently. That game has a lot more personality than almost anything that's come out recently. I mean, maybe the only thing that can really rival it would be Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, despite all the issues with that game. But like, Wukong has some good personality with the characters so far from everything I've seen. So far, I've been pretty okay with it. I don't know if it's good. I don't know if the story is going to turn out really that significant. I know that for the large part, it seemed all right. We'll see. I mean, I've only seen, I think, the first hour or 2 hours of it. So, but I mean, that's something right now that's come out that seems largely good, and it seems to have personality. But isn't it interesting? This is something to notice. Oh, and yeah, and by the way, stuff like Bayonetta had way more personality than whatever the frick we're getting nowadays. But here's what I'm talking about, bro. Isn't it interesting that all these products that are so clearly, it's either 100% or it's 99% of the workforce for these games are men. They always have they are doused in personality. They are doused in this weird sense of just, you can tell there's a love going into it. You can tell that they want to make what they're making, and you can tell that there's a purpose. It's not derivative. You know, even though you can say a lot of these different games were inspired, like Black Myth Wukong is probably inspired by a few games. So far, I've been watching that game and I can tell that that game is not derivative of a whole bunch of other games. I can tell that those who are the guys who are working on it, I can tell that they went out of their way to make something unique, right? Something that meant something to themselves. And that's the issue that we're seeing today. And this is the issue, like when I look at a game like Callisto Protocol, in the end, bro, playing the game, it's like, I don't get any sense of like love for the product. I mean, or maybe there was love, but it's like there's this soullessness that is following so many modern products. And it's that one exact thing right there. After playing Callisto Protocol, I felt soulless playing the game. I was like, what the frick are we here for? And that's exactly, by the end of it, bro, that's what was eating me away, to the point that now we're having this long conversation. Love of God. But anyways, that's the end of it. We're going to get into the next game.